to the Mss Francois Show. I am your host, Mss Francois. That's MSS for multi-talented and super sexy. You all know why you're here, right? Why? Because we're about to have some candid conversation, a variety of entertainment, and where I use humor to help you women especially, deal with your dysfunctional relationships. Today, I have a beautiful guest. Yes, of course, I'm more beautiful than her, but she has her own shine. She has her own halo. Her name is Paula Nurse. Night Nurse. No, that's just her last name. So, Paula Nurse, she's a mother of Sahara. Richard?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Private chef. Girl, you can cook.
Yes, I can.
She ain't got no man, so it don't really matter. So all that cooking is just for her.
The man is coming. The man is coming.
That's what all manless people say. She is a private chef, caterer from Brooklyn.
Okay, represent.
Why do people always say that? And Brooklyn is not what it used to be, so I don't know. But she lives in Queens, so.
In the 90s, okay?
I'm
from the 90s, so I have to represent for Brooklyn from the 90s, yes.
You have been featured in Financial Times Women's Magazine, the story on resilience.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so we're here. I wanted to have like a short segment having to do with single moms. And you're a single mom. How old is your daughter?
She's 11.
11.
Yes.
And how long have you been a single mom?
I would say since she was born.
Okay. So, to draw us into
So
that,
to
because people
speak,
are single parents for different reasons.
Yes,
What's the reason you define yourself as a single mom?
Yes, thank you. For me, I define myself as a single mom because I don't seem to have like that support that I feel like is necessary to, raise a child. The father is present, but not in a way that I feel is very supportive. And it's important to have that support of the other partner, despite if you guys are in a relationship or not. And it's been, like he's there, but...
Right, and when you say supportive, are you saying supportive at being present in the child life, playing games, helping her with her homework?
Yes.
Visitation, financial, because support is different things to different
people.
Yeah,
so the support in, the nurturing, asking her about her day, asking her about homework, calling to really like check on her. It's just not there as much, and if it is there, it's just because of my doing, in a sense. I would say, I'm not gonna, just say, you could do whatever, this is your child, she's here, you're gonna see her, And so, we have some sort of co-parenting, but it's just,
anyway, let me fix that for you guys. Let me fix, because she's doing all this fancy talking right now, and he's not there to support. Because some people are going to be watching here talking about, well, she chose wrong, she should have chosen better.
Listen,
so
true.
Back to her.
True. Listen, that is the most important aspect. You need to get to know the person before you lay down with them and have sex.
Exactly. See, now we're getting to something. Okay, and since your child is 11, since going through this whole phase, that's 11 years of growth and different experience you have had. Since she's single, people, single.
Single, yes.
Since you're single and her child could take care of herself, put on her own clothes,
okay, yes,
herself,
you can.
So you got no real issues, right?
At this point.
So, with that said, what it is are you looking for, if you're looking, or whoever may be looking for you, you would say would be the ideal person for your life and your child's life?
Yes, I mean, I'm definitely, on the hunt a bit,
hungry.
I didn't have a child to just be, single, I wanted a family, but at 19, what was I thinking? That's not family at 19, you're still a child in a sense.
Yeah, but he must have taken you to McDonald's, Burger King. You were like, this is the love of my life.
Listen, I was not in the right frame of mind. I'll say that. But, I decided I have to take responsibility for my actions. At the end of the day, I decided to bring her into this world. So, I want to provide the best life that I can for her. But yes, I do want a man. So the ideal partner for me would be somebody that can be a role model for her and, that will provide a sense of, security and, finances,
And are you dating right now?
I am. I'm open. I was doing the dating app thing and child.
What dating apps were you using?
I was on Hinge.
Oh, okay, that's not.
Yeah.
I've been on Hinge, Match, Bumble, eHarmony,
Child,
Black People Meet.
listen,
Don't do Black People Meet. Too many people seem to
I
have
was
just
on
coming out of
Hinge,
prison.
like, listen, I couldn't, you know, I figured I will find someone where I am, you know, doing what I love to do. So I started to just, you know, do what I wanted to do. Like, I go to dance classes. I'm like, hopefully I find my man, you know, in a dance
doing
class.
what you like to do.
yeah,
So
because-
he dancing there.
Yeah,
and
you know, like, because
your eyes meet like in the movies. And all
yes,
that stuff.
okay. Like, I'm still like a, you know, fairy tale. I still believe in fairy tales.
I
you
do
know,
too,
I still believe
definitely.
in that fairy tale love. Like, I deserve it. I'm like, you guys think you don't deserve it? That's fine. I'm gonna get me my fairy tale. You know, but I think it just, you know, takes maybe a little bit longer. Like, I feel like people that are like in relationships, they're brave, but I'm like, you need, you know, people are codependent.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want that for myself. So if I have to be single for a while,
But you
so
know
be
what
it.
always I think about when, as a single mom? When you find that person, how do you know, okay, this is potentially something and it's time to introduce that person,
Yes,
person to your
oh my
child?
gosh.
That's so scary.
yes,
to
it's
me.
very scary, you know. I feel like, you know, depending on where you fall in when you become a single mother, you know, when your child is a baby, like, you shouldn't be trying to date when it's a baby.
Yeah.
Like, it's a baby, you need to be
Focused.
breastfeeding, you know, like, and I was 19, so I have been trying to date, like, early, you
Right.
know, and, you know, but it doesn't work. You know, you need to take some time with yourself. You know, she's 11 now, and, you know, I feel like, you know, she wants to see me happy, so she's like into my
what
dating
you,
process.
That's what you're saying, or that's what she said?
That's what she said. Listen,
Okay.
when I was on Hinge, she used to be like, let me see what you look
Aw.
like. And I'm like, girl, move. But, you know, it feels nice to have, like, that support because, you know, this is my child. And, you know, I was a product of a single mother, and I watched my mom date, you know, so I'm like, I met my stepfather, and it was, you know, a process. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you know, you have to.
How old were you when you met your stepdad?
I was about 13.
Okay.
13, yeah. And like, you know, I met him, like one day I come home from school and he's sitting in the living room and I'm like, oh, okay, another one. Let's see how, you know, oh, this is my friend. And I'm like, okay, let's see how long this one lasts.
Exactly, that's would be the thing for your
Yes,
daughter. Like, you don't want your
so-
daughter saying that,
so-
especially when you had that experience.
So, you know, like, I haven't had her, like, really meet anyone, you know, like,
Okay.
maybe if she met anyone that was, like, a friend, like, she just knows them as friends. She's never met anyone as, this is my potential partner.
And he's sneaking out early in the
Yeah,
morning
yeah.
and coming back late at
Let me
night.
tell you, listen, yes, you know, I have needs. I have
okay.
needs.
I can't help you with that, man.
So, you know.
But what would you say is the most challenging part of being a single mom for like 11 years and doing all these things? You know, thinking about career-wise, thinking about if you're school, work, like how do you do it?
You know, I'm very determined. So, like, whatever I want, I'm going to have. However I have to figure that out, I will. You know, I made sure that I have a schedule with Dad he gets her on the weekends, alternating weekends, whichever. You know, I feel like some women, like, I hear stories of men saying they don't get to see their kids.
Right.
No, you're going to see this kid because I got stuff to do on the weekends. Like, I need to go date. I need to go find me a man. You're not going to be it, so.
Okay, she's scaring me just a little, okay? I'm not the dad. Stop projecting.
Listen, so I'm like, look, babysitter. He's a babysitter. That's kind of how I take it. I'm like, you know, you're going to see her. See you later. So
Well, at least he is there in some
ways, yeah.
And when it comes to dating, does he have an issue? How is that? Any friction there? How are we dealing with that? Baby mama drama from
let
any
me tell you,
side?
oh my Lord. Oh. He got 2 kids.
That's
So
including Sahara?
mine, and then he has another one.
Okay.
They're both the same age.
Oh, okay.
And like, you know, me, like, however the situation came about that we, you know, both have children for this man, like, you know, I seen the situation for what it is. I'm like, okay, we're not together really. You know, you have children because you're having sex.
Oh, really? That's how it
sex.
happens?
You know,
Okay.
so you
Thank
know,
you for
because I feel
educating the
like
viewers.
I feel like some women act like surprised, like, oh my God, I can't
How
believe
did
I'm
this
pregnant.
happen?
Like, hello, you're having sex unprotected, you're ovulating. Like, this is what we learn in school. So,
Yeah.
come on now. So, what do you think is going to happen? That is
Right.
the science. It's science, you
Exactly.
know. So I said, you know, like, we had sex, we have a baby. I'm going to take care of my responsibility, you know.
Did you have support from your parents? Or like you said, your mom was a single parent.
You know.
And how did your family or friends take it? Because 19,
yeah, I was 19. Let me
live.
tell you, I had some friends that were like, "Oh, girl, you can't have no baby," and I'm just like, "Well, he want to have the baby with me. We're gonna have a baby." Like, you know, I was not living at home at the time. At that time, my mom had put me out, so I was outside. You know, and I feel like, you know, I was very vulnerable, and I feel like that's how I might have got caught up with, you know, this guy.
I wonder what you were doing for your mom to put you out, but that's neither here nor
Right.
there.
So, you know, I was not, you know, living at home. And so, like, you know, after I found out I got pregnant, you know, I'm just like, I was actually like living with a friend and her mom. So I tried to go back home, you know, I was working. It was 4 of us, 4 children she had. I was the second oldest, the first girl. So, you know, I got a job early on, 16, to, you know, take care of myself in whatever ways because, you know, my mother was struggling.
Right.
She was living check to check.
Do you think you want to have more kids and stuff? I didn't hear you. What?
No,
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm traumatized.
But if you found like that ideal person, marriage,
You know-
because marriage is something you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you could see it, and he doesn't have kids. Do you see yourself having?
Like, I go back and forth with it sometimes.
Right.
It's like, you know, I say, hey, if I meet my man that I, you know, I feel like the man that is going to be for me, it's going to be a loving, healthy relationship. So, you know, I probably would want to have a child for him, but, you know, still, like, when I think of the reality of what the responsibility is having a child, like, it just, I'm just like, you know,
you've been there, done that, you understand it.
And then,
but
like,
you never know what the future has in store
yeah,
for
you know, so I'm like, I'm undecided, you know, so
Okay.
I sometimes like say maybe I want a guy that does have a kid already, or, you know, if the man say he want to have a kid with me, you got to do PowerPoint presentation and tell me why I need to have your baby, because otherwise, no. I need to, you financially here, you're going to be here to support me and the child, you know, nurture. Okay, but anything outside of that.
One thing I got from this conversation, you definitely seem to have things together, and you know what you want.
Yeah.
You know what you want for your child
Yeah.
and for your future.
Yeah.
We'll hear about her in the future. Okay?
Yeah.
We'll keep tabs on
You
this,
know,
okay?
I want my daughter to see me, you know, be loved. And, you know, I didn't really see my mom get that. You know, I did see her put herself out there and date. And, you know, it's one thing I could say I admire. She did her best, you know. And so,
I mean, parents do the best
Yeah.
they can with what they know.
What they know,
Right?
yeah.
And hopefully the next generation do better, and that's
Yes,
always the
absolutely.
hope, right?
Mhm.
So with that said, what one advice you think you would leave for single moms in your situation, especially going through what you went through?
you know, accept your role in what's occurring, you know, accept your reality, and just put your best foot forward, you know. I go to therapy, you know, go to therapy.
You work on you, basically,
Yes,
personal
yeah,
development.
you
And I
know.
think that's a lot of people forget about that, because
Yeah.
sometimes still there's a stigma where therapy is like, oh my God,
Yeah.
something's wrong with you, you got a mental problem, and it's nothing like
No.
that.
You just
know?
need some support. We
Yeah,
all
some
experience,
guidance.
yeah, we experience
some
things. And
neutral party, someone to talk to. So sometimes people are not being heard.
Yes.
And I admire that.
Yeah.
I can't afford it, but I
yeah,
admire that.
yeah, yeah. Look, I've always just been open to growth and evolution. And, you know, very early on as a teen girl, I see, like, you know, I was having some self-esteem issues. I was like, well, I need to figure this out, because people telling me I'm pretty and I don't really feel it. So, you know.
You're beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. You know,
Yes,
so.
and I mean that. I normally
Thank you.
lie sometimes, but this time I mean it.
Thank you, you know.
Okay. So I just wanted to point out, one of the ways we found each other was through Momentum Education.
yes.
So for all you all don't know who Momentum Education is, you should definitely look up Momentum
Yes, yes.
Education. You all should pay me. It sounds like I'm plugging you guys
Okay,
here.
look.
But this is LT175.
Okay,
LT?
LT180. Okay, listen, the best. Oh my God, love.
Yeah, it's
love
all
it.
about personal development. Definitely finding out things that you wasn't even aware
Aware of,
of for
yeah.
yourself. So it's definitely shining a light. It's like
Yeah.
you don't know what you don't know till you know.
Till you know, exactly.
So with that said, thank you so much, Paula
Yes.
Nurse.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Oh my God, thank you. I appreciate you so
No
much.
problem. Thank you, and hopefully something like this could definitely help someone,
Yeah.
because you never know. So you have social media or anything?
Yes, I do,
Okay,
yes.
so just mention to everyone exactly where they could find you in case they, you never know.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. My name is Paula the Goddess. That's Paula TheeGoddess. Yes. You can
Don't
find me
worry,
on
guys.
Instagram.
I'm gonna definitely put that at the bottom so you all could check it out. And thank you so much again, Paula
Thank you.
Nurse,
Thank you
Miss
so
Nurse,
much.
for coming.
Thank
Okay?
you.
Say bye to all the people. Today's guest, we have Miss Tania Ruiz.
Ruiz.
Yo, I don't know these damn Spanish people. Their name very confusing. Rodriguez, Ruiz.
Ruiz.
Sorry.
Some people say Ruiz, you know.
Ruiz. Okay, so we have Miss Tania. She is the mother of two, raised in Brooklyn, creator of Notorious Moms. That's MOMZ. She want to be different, y'all.
Yes.
How are you this morning, my
I'm
dear?
good, my love. How are you?
So two kids.
Two.
Where are these kids? You stuck them in the car, they're under the house.
So my
you out
son
here
is
early
over
in the
there
morning.
somewhere. He's over there recording me. My son is there, and then my daughter is in the car with my husband. They're taking a trip around the Bronx.
Okay, that's a supportive family. So make sure you
Yes.
make it to the Mss Francois Show.
Yes.
I love that.
Everybody on deck.
So we have someone discuss this segment that is married but woman feeling single. So even when I Google it, it said something to the effect of married single mom.
Right.
Right? And I thought it was an interesting topic because before I had someone who was actually a single mom where she was doing everything on her own, but to be married and to feel single, that's a whole different aspect. So what have you seen when it comes to something like this? But just so everyone knows, she married and her man
Yes.
doing whatever because we don't want nobody getting divorced because of Miss Francois.
So my husband he is very hands-on for sure. So let me just say that from my perspective, he is like an amazing dad. Shout out to you, Dad. He does everything for her. He is like, since day one, he's been with her like that. So this is just my perspective from what I've seen, you know, growing up, especially like in my culture. Like my father was hands-on, but not as much as like my mom. She was the disciplinary, he was the softie. But I was raised with both my parents. But growing up, like in situations that I've seen a lot of like married women
Right.
that feel single in their marriage, especially when it comes to the children.
Because some people, like I say, if the dad, for instance, have a job like they're in the army, you know, the forces, or they are pilots that are typically never home. Some people would say, obviously, they know what they were getting into. So being married and single, you're not really single. You know what the situation was, and
Right.
there's nothing could be done about that. So you can't be mad.
Right. But some men don't understand that just because you have a 9 to 5, when you get home, the job doesn't stop. It starts there with your children.
But
Like,
I've been working all day long to bring food home for you, and that's the kind of thanks I get. I'm tired too. I'm tired of working. You
Yes.
just home all day watching this one child.
Well,
the child was sleeping. You had time to watch TV. You
that
could have
depends.
done something.
Okay, so then let's break it down to both working parents. Even when both parents are working, the mother's working all day too. The father's working all day too. Most of the times, in things that I have seen, the mom is the one doing the homework, cooking, the cleaning, the washing, making sure the child is organized. Where does the father fall into that? There's some fathers that take a step back and won't do it.
Right.
They get home, they work their 9 to 5, and then that's it. But there's still things to do at home. Some men, and I'm not men bashing.
Yeah, because you know you all don't be
I'm not
commenting on my
bashing,
Instagram or my YouTube channel talking
but-
about Tania. Hell no.
But there are some men that are hands off when it comes to raising the children. Because just because you bring home the bacon, there's a lot of things that come into raising children. It doesn't stop at just bringing home the money. You know, there's education. They say education starts from home. You know, you have to teach them. You have to nurture them.
I'm doing my part, then you do your part. And some people might see the issue like I'm Trinidadian, the sexiest accent that you all can hear. And but honestly speaking, on your point, I have seen where the men go and do whatever some men could be doing, going to the bars, having multiple women.
Yes. That
Daddy,
too.
you know you've been a hoe, but I love my daddy. But
That too.
all over the place, and then the mom is doing everything. And in what I have known with the Caribbean, that is normal. And so, how do you think, in what you have experienced, that a shift could come? How can that start to change?
So I think that in Caribbean culture, unfortunately, that is normal, and the father usually brings home the bacon. The mother, was home with the children. I come from a very large family. My father's side of the family, I have 16 aunts and uncles, and then on my mother's side,
Let me tell you how she get that. Poor people always make a lot of children. When you
Yes.
have money and the parents working 9 to 5, have a job on the side, they have no time for sex, don't see each other.
Right.
When you're poor, you come home, your wife there, what's there to do? Sex.
right.
Go ahead with
And
your
then
poor
on
family.
on my mother's side, there was 12 of them.
Lord Jesus.
So, you know, most of the time, my grandparents, the moms, they stood home while my grandfathers, they went out and, you know, got the bacon.
Or your bacon. What kind, bacon could
They
be seen
came
as
home,
different things.
right? They came home and they brought home the money. But now, you know, when we're talking about nowadays, we're talking about 2023, both parents are usually working and they both have really good jobs. They're working really hard, you know, but when you get home, you still have an equal, there should be, or shall I say, there should be an equal opportunity to take care of the children.
So you're saying, okay, I come home, I'm a hardworking man, I just came home through the door. Do like a scene of how, we all know it's not going to be ideal.
Right.
But how would a typical day go?
Okay, so in my opinion, whoever gets home first should start. And that's how it was like in my household with my mom and my dad. They both worked. Both of my parents worked 2 jobs, and whoever got home started cooking.
Still
or
sound like child abuse,
whoever
'cause
got home.
Sound like the kids were back home by themselves. But go
No,
ahead.
we had babysitters. You know, my father, if he got home first, he would start cooking. You know, he would start us with the homework. My mom would come and finish it up. Like, you know,
So is that
my
something that
mom
was
wouldn't just
discussed
come.
or that was just expected?
It just happened, like, in my household. It just kind of just happened.
You might be, what, the 5%? Because typically I see a day coming in when the man comes in, the first thing the woman says, oh, that's the time you came in, didn't work, finish at 5, it's like 6:30. So that's what I'm saying. How do we come to a point where it could happen like it happens in your home?
So I think that transparency is really important. I think that when you're in a marriage, you need to like speak to your partner and say, hey, you know, this is what I expect, especially when children are involved. You know, we're both working, we're both busy, so let's break it down. Do schedules. People do schedule all the time. You know, put it on a schedule like, okay, if the kid has dance or whatever, because, you know, people put their kids in so many things. All right, one day you do this, one day you do that. You know, if I cook, you wash the dishes. It's kind of like, it's push and pull, no?
Wait, hey, I don't have a man. Me, I have no trend. Why you asking me? So what can the man do differently, or what can he say when, from his point of view? Because if you notice, a lot of these things is the woman, the woman, the woman.
Right.
So the man himself he has his own emotions.
Right.
And I think a lot of times we forget about that.
Right. That is
No,
very
I'm so
true.
Damn intelligent. Whose show is this?
That is true, but I think the men need to just tap into their strengths, right? So let's say if you don't know how to cook, that's okay. So maybe you don't cook, but maybe you can start doing homework with our child. You know, okay, you don't know how to make a 5-course dinner, or maybe you don't know how to fix something, but you could sweep and mop. You can, you know, organize things. You can, if things are out of place, you can put them where they go. I mean, is that not simple enough? What you think?
I
Nobody
don't
want
know
to do
why
it?
she have the little attitude she coming with it. I don't know what's going on, man, but we're talking about other people.
Yes, other people.
No, I totally agree. I guess it's like you said in the beginning, it's all about having that communication and being able to
Yes.
talk to each other. How do you feel about counseling and therapy for these things? Because when we sit here and talk, me and you, like, yeah, they could communicate, this is what I expect. But it doesn't naturally go over like that in most relationships. It sounds like, shut up, you're lazy. Wait, I'm channeling
Yes.
my parents. Sorry.
No, I think it's important, and if it's needed, then go ahead. I'm all for therapy. I think therapy is good. It's, you know, sometimes it's really needed.
2008, could tell me a number, how long y'all been together? I ain't trying to
13
calculate.
years, 14
30,
years.
Yeah, because
14
people always
years.
want me to do math. Okay, so about 14 years.
About.
Okay, and your child is how old?
So I have an 18-year-old son that's not with my husband, and then my daughter's 3. I just had a 3-year-old.
18 and 3. You start all over again.
All over again.
How has that been?
Difficult.
To,
It's been
yeah,
difficult because my husband and I have 2 very different parenting styles. But I ain't even going to get into that because that's going to be a whole nother 2 hours of your
No,
show.
I need to get in a little help because the stuff we discuss, you're trying to help someone else.
Yes.
So even transitioning from, okay, I did this for 18 years and I'm starting over, our parents are married, this relationship for 14 years. Like, I always like to say, what have you learned from raising an 18-year-old to now raising a 3-year-old?
So, I was a single mom when I was raising my son, and my parents and my family, you know, it takes a village. So I had a lot of outside influence from my family, and they helped me raise my son. So I did it by myself with my family.
Oh, that's awesome.
Not necessarily with his father, even though his father is, you know, he's a good person, and we get along. We get along now.
See how she tried to cover that up? Oh, okay.
We get along now, but I respect him, he respects me, and we're good. But my husband now, him and I, we have a lot of difficulties raising our daughter because the way I raised my son, I wouldn't say it was necessarily the right way,
Right.
but it's how I knew because
Right.
it was how I was taught.
Understand.
So some things maybe I could have done better. So I'm trying to be better at raising my daughter, but it's really difficult because I still have those old
Puerto Rican,
Old-
Caribbean
yes.
way. Girl, sit down.
So-
Shut up.
There you
That's
go.
what I tell you to do.
I still have those
know.
old
You
ways.
don't know.
Yes, exactly. Do as I say, not as I do. And my husband and I were just having this very conversation just a couple of days. Like, you know, she's only 3. I have to give her grace. You know, she's growing in a different time than my son grew up in.
Definitely.
So I have to shift, and that's hard for me sometimes. So
No, and to me, the first part is admitting it. So I respect you for that. Because you strong woman. I am right. I know. Don't
Yes.
tell me what to do.
You know I
You
got
can
that.
leave. Like, we quick to clam up, tighten up, and I know. So that's huge. You already know, and you're already working on it. So you're
Yes.
halfway there.
Halfway.
Damn, I should be a therapist.
well, this is therapy for me. Well, thank you.
No problem. So, in your whole experience from 18 years, first relationship, now this relationship at 3-year-old, the number one thing that you would give an advice to someone in this situation would be what?
Give yourself grace. We are hard on ourselves as parents, as mothers. We're so hard on ourselves, and we want to be perfect. We want to be perfect in everybody's eyes, right? Because when you talk about moms, everybody thinks about mothers as, you know, these great people. We
Yeah.
change the world. We do this, we do that. But sometimes you don't feel like it. So you have to just give yourself grace and meet yourself in the middle.
I love that. I thought I liked you before. I like you more now.
Well, thank you.
I just want you to take just a minute or two to just talk about your podcast and
yes.
just let people so they could definitely start to tune in. Still watch me, but you could check her
Yes.
out.
So Notorious Moms, the podcast, that's it. It's Notorious Moms with a Z. The podcast, that's how it is everywhere. You'll find it on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
And what is it about?
So I gear it towards like moms, right? Because I'm a mom, obviously, but I try to be inclusive to everyone. So we talk about different things. The last topic we spoke about was like mental health. And, you know, I had a guest on and we did the eight steps of wellness, and we talked about that. So I talk about mental health, I talk about parenting, I talk about everything.
Awesome. So you'll definitely check that out, okay?
Yes.
With that said, thank you so much, Tania.
Thank you for having me.
I'm gonna let you pronounce your last name. What's your last name, Tania?
Ruiz.
Ruiz. So thank you, Tania, so much for gracing me.
Thank you.
Giving me grace, letting
Yes.
you feel your energy. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yes.
And you guys.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. You ain't coming back, but. But thank you guys for tuning in. As always, I am your amazing host, Mss Francois, multi-talented and super sexy. Check me out on all social media. Feel free to DM me.